Welcome back to another Soaked in Oil production. Today I'm going to show you how to change the clutch on a 1997 Honda Shadow Spirit VT1100. So I got all the things out that I need. We have a clutch gasket. Today we're going to be putting in a Barnett Performance clutch. We have some Honda 10W40 oil, 4 quarts. You only need 3.3, but it's cheaper if you buy 4 and then you have some extra. K&N 303 oil filter. We have our custom made oil pan right there. We have some Allen keys. I think we're only going to need the number 5, and that's for the clutch cover over here. But we'll see. I'm going to try and get this done without taking the exhaust off. Hopefully it's going to work out like that, but we'll find out when we get into this. This clutch replacement is going to be around $200 if you order it from the same places that I ordered my stuff from. All this stuff was ordered from Amazon. Pretty good deal. I'll post all the links in the description below, and I'll do a little breakdown of what everything costs. But it's pretty cheap if you do it yourself. It's really not that hard. And I forgot to mention, you also need a torque wrench as well. I got that out too. So stick with me. As you can see, I already had the bike running. I took it for a quick ride to warm up the oil, and that's going to help with drainage as well. If you're just looking to change your oil, I also have an oil change video up already. Made that one last year, so if you want to just learn how to change your oil, check out that video too. I'm not going to show all the draining of the oil and stuff, but I'll explain a little bit about what I'm going to do. All right, so first step's going to be draining the oil. You want to drain all the oil out because this is a wet clutch, and what that means is the clutch is submerged in oil when it's in the crankcase here. So start with draining the oil unless you want to make a even bigger mess in your driveway, and then we'll get to the clutch part. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and I'll be back with you in a second. All right, so you can see the oil's all drained out. Next step's gonna be removing the clutch cover here. We're gonna take 5mm Allen key. That's what it takes, 5 mil right there. We're gonna take all these out, and make sure you have an oil pan under here, because some residual oil is gonna be dripping out the side of the cover of the crankcase. So make sure you got that covered unless you don't care about getting oil in your driveway. But that's gonna be the next step. I'm gonna set you guys up so you can see what I'm doing here, and we'll go from there. I also wanted to show you, I opened up the box here. This is what your Barnett clutch kit's gonna come with. Comes with this little what oil to use in my motorcycle, blah blah blah. And they also suggest soaking the friction plates for 1 to 3 minutes in oil. We're gonna do that after we get the cover off and the other ones out, so that I can use the old oil for that. Just gonna soak them. So these are the clutch plates. These are the friction discs right here. And then these are your clutch springs. You should have 5 if you're doing this bike. Just make sure you have everything you need before you start draining the oil and everything, so you're covered. But these are the friction plates you want to soak in the oil for a couple minutes, and then they say wipe them down and you're good to go. Also comes with a sticker. I don't know, throw it in your toolbox or something. Figure out something to do with it. Alright guys, so we took these 2 bolts off right here. The exhaust mounting bracket, we can swing the exhaust down and get it out of the way of the clutch cover. My suggestion, go ahead and do that from the beginning, and it'll save you a big hassle, get everything out of the way. So now we can get these last 2 bolts completely out. And pull this clutch cover off. There it is. All right, so this is what your clutch looks like. These are the 5 clutch bolts that you're gonna have to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your first clutch plate. Notice how it's offset from the other ones. Keep that in mind for when you put your stuff back on. I'll explain that when I take these off, but I'm gonna go ahead and take these bolts off next. I believe they're gonna be a 10 millimeter or 12. Yep. Alright, there's 5 10 millimeter bolts that you want to take off. Now you want to take them off in a star pattern, or as close to a star pattern as you can. Just keep loosening them evenly. We'll just pull this one out so I can show you real quick. So that's what it's going to look like. Make sure you can see that. So this is a spring with the nut and washer on there. So we're going to go ahead and take the rest of those off. And once again, I like to keep them in the same pattern. Make sure they go back in the same hole. Alrighty. Now we can slide this bad boy off. Put them to the side. And you want to make sure you keep all this stuff very clean, by the way. But this is what I was trying to explain to you first, is you notice how the first friction disc is offset from the clutch plates. See how that's not in the same groove as the other ones? We want to make sure we put the last one back in a separate orientation as all the other discs and plates, okay? And I've been told that's because if your clutch goes bad, if they're all in the same orientation, it can send metal into your crankcase and ruin your engine, pollute your oil and all that. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I read online anyway. So we just want to make sure that this first friction plate is offset. Now we're going to go ahead and start pulling all the plates and discs out. Let me grab a box that I can throw these in. Alright guys, well we're going to start pulling off the friction discs. There's a disc. There's a plate. Disc. Plate. You might need a small screwdriver or some kind of pick to get the rest of these out because they go in pretty deep. Alright, And that's all she wrote. So now we're going to soak the new discs. This is what she looks like, empty. We're going to soak the new friction plates with, or excuse me, in the oil, and then I'll get back with you. All right, guys, so we have the friction discs soaking in the oil here. Stuck a zip tie around all of them just to keep them nice and tidy in there. Cut that off right before we put them in, and you want to let them soak for 3 to 4 minutes in the oil, just so that they're not dry when they go back in. That can cause extra wear right off the bat. So, and it's going to take a little while for them to get oil soaked in the crankcase. So, if you give them a little bit of a head start, that'll help with the longevity of the clutch. These are the ones that we took out, and now's a good time to start scraping the gasket off the clutch cover, so it's all ready to go once you start throwing the discs back in. But that's where we're at right now. I'm going to let them soak for, like I said, 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll be right back. And then remember, on the last one, it's offset. So it goes in like that. See how it's not lined up right here? Offset. Alright, now I'm going to go wipe my hands and I'll be right back. Alright guys, now we're going to get the pressure plate back on. Make sure you line it up with the bolt holes. Just like that. Slide straight on. Just like that. And now we're going to get the new springs put on wherever I put them. Here. Got this packet of new springs. Those are ready to go. Crack those open. Slide that on. Start them by hand. Alright guys, we've got the pressure plate all torqued down and ready to go. The next step is going to be cleaning up this gasket along the outside. Just get it nice and smooth so the new gasket will fit flush and seal right. So that's going to be the next step. As soon as that's done, we're going to throw the new gasket on, throw the cover on, and get these bolts back in, and then we'll change the oil filter, throw some new oil in it, and she'll be ready to go. So to finish out the project, we buttoned up the clutch cover, torqued all the clutch cover bolts down, we put the exhaust back on, we removed the old oil filter, screwed a new oil filter on, we filled up the bike with 3.5 quarts. Manual says 3.3, but it usually takes 3.5 with an oil filter, and we took it out for a ride. The new clutch feels great. It doesn't slip at all under wide open throttle, and it's definitely a huge improvement. It grabs really strong, so I definitely suggest the Barnett clutch kit. I've only put I put about 50 miles on it today, so I'll probably be doing a different review after I've got some more miles on it. But that's basically it, guys. If you have any questions, comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I really appreciate you watching all my videos. Like I said, I did do an oil change video, so if you need to learn how to do that, check out that video as well. And thanks for watching. Bye.